It's time for the sandbox news. This week there are new clothing and animation changes. There are map updates, improvements to performance in virtual reality, a few editor updates. I have some cool stuff to show off too. I updated my NPC Zombies and I made a new map. Here's a quick update on Construct and the broken grass. As you can see, the shader on the foliage is still broken, so all the grass and leaves are bright white. I think this is actually a brighter white than before. There are some clothing updates. I think they're best explored in the clothing menu. So we can see the V-neck t-shirt has been changed. Previously, I believe this was red. Now it's gray with black stripes. The tank top shirt has gotten a lot more dirty. The long sleeve shirt is now darker. Previously, I think it was a light gray. There's a new variation of this green flannel shirt called the blue shirt. And as you might expect, it's blue. And the office blazer and office skirt have had their colors tweaked a little. So now they're a little bit bluish. Previously, I think they were completely black. There are also new long idle animations. So as a reminder, these currently happen when you're standing still for 5 or more seconds. We can see this pose, the character is holding his hands together in front of him. There's a new hugging the shoulder pose. So this is very interesting. And this one's my favorite. I'm not entirely sure what this pose is meant to be. Maybe it's supposed to be a hands on the hip pose, but it doesn't really look like they're holding their hands on their hips. Pose is especially goofy when you're looking up. I think this is just fantastic. I love this pose. Unicycle Frenzy Hop Stop has been updated. So as you can see, it's been turned into a giant warehouse. There are a lot of lights hanging from the ceiling and boxes stacked up. This is so interesting, wow. Previously, I believe this map was set inside of a water area with weird concrete platform. But as you can see, that's no more. Now it's Box World. And from playing this, I can immediately recognize the layout, even though this map looks so different. Let's see how far I can get on here. I'm very out of practice. Oh, I think these ledges you can actually jump on if you're going fast enough, and you can get like a shortcut there. I think I've lost all of my unicycle frenzy skills. Wait, you don't die if you fall off? Could I just explore down here? You can see there's some anomalies with visibility going on here. I'm not sure if there was supposed to be a kill trigger down here or not. Doesn't seem like you're supposed to be down here. There's no way I can skip the whole map. You just can't get up to the ending. So this is a very interesting feature. Again, I'm not really sure if you're supposed to be down here. There have been some improvements to performance in virtual reality. Now, I'm not a graphics programmer, so I don't know exactly what all this means, but from the summary here, we can see VR performance has been improved by as much as double, enabling multi-view instancing by default, and a lot of changes to the VR render process. I haven't tried this out in-game, but I would assume, or at least hope, that this also fixes the weird glitches with rendering in VR. There are a few miscellaneous editor improvements. So we can see there's a new waveform preview when you have a sound open in the inspector. I'll try some different sounds and we can see the different waveform. So that's very interesting and very cool. The animation graph editor has also gotten some improvements. I was editing the default citizen animation graph to make a custom one for my NPC Zombies. The default animation graph is massive and it can be pretty laggy when you have a ton of citizens on the screen. So I was simplifying it down and I encountered a ton of bugs and missing features. So those have all been fixed. Now there's an autosave feature, and you can right click to select the children. So this will select everything up the chain of your currently selected node. There is also a big crashing bug that would crash Sandbox, and that's been fixed. I worked on my NPC Zombies a little more. It looks like they're actually glitching out now because of recent updates, and I'm getting an error. So last week, all of the zombies were naked because of a weird sandbox bug. And now it looks like the zombies have 2 skins on their skin. And I'm getting a vSound T error. So I'll have to look into that. I added wandering states and procedural spawning. So if I delete all the zombies, they will spawn behind walls and where you can't see them. So there's one there. There's a couple back here, and if I wait behind this wall for a little bit, we'll get a bunch of zombies that have spawned over here. I also made it so that the zombies can become angry and chase after you. So we can see they're all angry and running at me. However, They can't attack yet, they just jump around you in a big circle. But that's pretty cool. It's one step closer to having a cool zombie game in S&box. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you may be wondering, haven't I already made this? Yeah, I have. I've already made most of the features of these zombies already. However, that was so long ago, I'm guessing over 6 months, maybe even almost a year ago, and S&box is basically like a completely different game now. So I'm finding it almost easier to completely remake everything than to try to update all the old code. I also made a new map for Spire. It's called the Cursed Shaft. So, as you might imagine, it's set inside of the cursed mineshaft. There are minecart rails, mining equipment, and there's a haunted, cursed minecart. Wow, that's so scary. This map is for the dual game mode in Spire. So 2 teams fight it out and the last team standing wins. As you can see, this map is pretty detailed, however it's still a work in progress. I haven't made a bridge here, it's still just a big plank. And a lot of the walls and ground are still pretty bare. I've only really detailed this area so far, and I still have to go through and do a lighting pass. Because currently I think the lighting looks pretty washed out with this fog. I also have to find an alternative to the water because the water in S&box is still pretty glitched out. As you can see, it flickers a ton and it's not affected by the fog. So maybe I'll make a cool particle effect for down there. Here's what the map looks like from an overview perspective. So there are 4 entrances. Each team gets 2 entrances for more dynamic gameplay. And here's what the map looks like from a first person's perspective. So it looks pretty strange, but that's to be expected because this is a top-down map, not a first-person map. So this is very exciting, very thrilling. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you to my Patreon supporters.